because they're not relevant without me, and I don't give a fuck about any of them.
Just don't name them.
Just, yeah.
Damn, he just lets it there. He just gets mogged by Mike. He's not gonna give a counter argument. He just okays it and then quits. Oh, what? He does a post-edit debate and he doesn't let Mike respond? What? What? Why Andrew Tate cut off Adin, Ross, and Sneako?
There's that walk in the footsteps of you, but I feel like or maybe they don't miss. I kind of want to like ask you, how do you feel about like the Adin Rosses, the Sneako, Zerka, all of these people that kind of walk in the realm of where you want? Like Neon is one now. Like, how do you feel about these gentlemen?
I think they're all different people. I don't pay attention to any of them. I know something about, I don't want to insult anybody. I don't want to talk about anybody negative.
Roadblock protests work and are probably one of the less harmful types of protests. Really? Work for what? What is an example of a roadblock protest that works that didn't already have like super widespread popular support?
Zerka's a clown. I mean,
dude, no. I'm not laughing because it's Zerka thing. It just caught me so off guard. Listen, I'm not gonna talk shit about anybody. I'm gonna be very respectful. But that guy.
4611 into the Scuffed podcast, you roast Adin for wanting to live in Florida for stupid Andrew Tate and conservative reasons. This is what may have put him into attack mode for the rest of the pod. Sorry, I had to bring it up. Did I say that before he made the wife comments or not? I might have said that, but like, bro, hold on. I'm sorry. Am I not allowed to like make any comment at all about anything? That wasn't a personal attack. I was just saying like, oh, everybody wants to live in Florida. It's either because they think that's like a conservative haven or there's like some Donald Trump fans or whatever. Like, fuck that. That's retarded. Adin started at around 38 minutes in the video. Oh, and Adin went in first, so fuck you. Okay. It was a personal attack though? No, shut the fuck up. How are you guys so weak? Oh God, take me back to the year 2000. Oh, fuck me. I need to get off this. I need to get off this fucking internet, dude.
Okay, Zerka.
I mean, I'm just trying to be honest. I understand your question, but I don't see myself as similar to any of them. I think that
I never said you were similar. I think that they're trying to recreate your formula.
Oh,
it's like the Krabby Patty formula. You know how Plankton's sitting around being like, how do they do it? And then they're trying to do it, but it's not really working.
Yeah, but they lack substance. They have no lessons to teach. They have no life experience. They are clowns.
He didn't go in first. You just got offended off him asking about your divorce. Are these Adin Ross fans in my chat? Are you 12 years old?
Clowns. And when you're a clown, you embarrass yourself for other people's entertainment. I mean, I don't want to... Adin, I know well.
I think people wanted you to have hindsight into Adin's sensitive nature. He was going to hit you personally, even if you made the slightest dig. That's fine if he wants to, but then get ready to go back and forth. Like, don't get sad when I start, like, hitting back. Like, it's so easy.
Sneako, I know well.
Are you close with Adin?
Yeah, I speak to him quite often. But Neon, or whatever his name is, he's a clown and Zerka's a clown. I don't want to insult them too much, but they're just children being stupid. And I think that as the world devolves into insanity, people are looking for solutions and answers, as I said earlier, which I can provide. They can't provide that because they don't have the life experience or the intellect or the capability, so all they can do is provide cheap entertainment at their own expense. When you're a clown, you embarrass yourself for other people to laugh.
Yeah, and the Joker effect.
Yeah, and it's a completely different subsect, but I do feel like there are some people who are trying to follow in my footsteps, and imitation is certainly flattering. It was always going to happen. There was always going to be people who were trying to be me, but there will always be one top G. So it is what it is.
They're just highlighting the more insulting version of you than they are. Like they're not. Your method is punch. Here's the knowledge.
Yeah,
and they're just punching.
Yeah,
for the clicks.
Yeah, and I think there's thousands of people, and there's probably thousands of influencers I've not heard of who are probably trying to do something similar or to copy my formula or say the same kind of things. And yeah, that's probably.
Who are you closest with? You know, like social media realm. Is it Nelk? Is it Adin? Is it who is somebody you relate to and you could fully have a conversation and enjoy yourself?
You know what's interesting? The Nelk guys are super cool, and I've met a lot of guys, and Adin was cool. I've met Adin, met Sneako, but you know what's actually really interesting? I don't talk to anybody. I've realized this. In fact, there was a conversation about this inside the War Room a few weeks ago, and we're talking about how a lot of influencers cross-pollinate for views and stuff, right? They like.
Wait, the X sooner killers. You're being sarcastic when you type that right now.
Like, oh, I'll do a show with him, and he'll do a show with me, and then we'll go to his house, we'll do a show there, and blah, blah, blah. Podcast is obviously different because it's a podcast show, but outside of podcasts...
Do you think Tate fell off? Yeah, I think that their huge rise was on the back of like the red pill stuff, and then it definitely subsided as that stuff kind of waned in popularity, for sure.
I don't meet anyone ever.
Also, him getting like kicked off of every platform in conjunction with that, plus the indictments, plus him being removed from social media as he was in jail, all of that probably hurt their popularity for sure.
If I can get 1 million views with me and Tristan in our home with an iPhone. I don't talk to anybody, so I don't have conversations with anyone. I don't meet anyone. I'm far away. I'm in Romania. I can't leave. I don't really want them to come here. I don't want to have to entertain them. I'm quite isolationist, and my friends are the same friends I had 20 years ago. I don't have any new friends. I don't talk to any new people. I don't know this because they're necessarily bad people as such, but I just think we're on different paths, different missions. Like, I genuinely believe I'm waking up and trying to make myself the most excellent version of myself.
Do you think Zherka will ever get as big as Adin or Tate? Here is what I think, okay? I have no proof for this, it's just I've seen it happen a few times. This is what I think is the #1 scariest thing for a streamer. Actually, I have seen this happen quite a few times. This is the #1 scariest thing for a streamer, okay? Let's say that we measure 2 lines, okay? Let's say the first line, we're gonna do blue for this. The first line, this is your actual viewership, okay? The first line is your actual viewership. Let's say that we mark somebody's career and we have like this or whatever, okay? Let's say that a green line is the overall awareness of who you are, okay? So like how many people have heard of you, right? As a function, unfortunately, this one can only increase, it never decreases. So this might look something like this, right? People don't forget about you, okay? This is probably a relatively normal like growth cycle for an influencer. Is you gain popularity, more people hear about you, you kind of stay at around the same popularity, maybe do an event or two, kind of like people know who you are, but like you don't really gain much, okay? I think the scariest thing is when you are a streamer and then you have like a huge burst in popularity. You get like a huge inflection point like this, but your viewership ends up looking like this. I think this is like the scariest phenomenon to happen to a streamer or a YouTuber. It's where you have an explosive growth moment where all eyes are on you, but you can't convert any of these people into viewers or followers. I think that, in my opinion, once this has happened, you're basically dead or on the way to being dead, or you have to totally reinvent yourself. Really good example of this recently, I think, are Nick Fuentes and John Zherka. Fuentes hit an inflection point to where he was hanging out with Kanye West, Donald Trump, worldwide popularity, everybody knew who he was, holy shit. But it seems like he didn't really convert any of those people to fans, and now he's kind of on this trajectory. John Zherka did the same. John Zherka was on every single, what are these weird fucking YouTube comments? LOL Destiny describing himself. Yeah, my career is definitely dying, bro, and it has been for a long time. Join the club of preying on my downfall, okay? I think that the scary thing, this happened with John Zherka too, where Zherka was doing a ton of shows, a ton of podcasts, got a huge explosion of popularity, but didn't convert it meaningfully into long-term fans. I think that the scary thing about this is once the world has seen who you are and you've gotten all this exposure and people decided they didn't like you, where the f do you go for new fans? This is really scary. So like with Fuentes, he can do things to get in front of people again, but everybody's already heard of him and they've decided that they don't really like him that much. Same thing with John Zherka. John Zherka got in front of a bunch of people, they saw him, they're like, this is boring, and then they stopped. And I feel like unless you completely, and then the Tates are also on this cycle right now, unless you either like completely reinvent yourself or you do some huge event or something like happens, I think that this is like the death trajectory for a lot of streamers. Anytime you get in front of a whole bunch of new eyes or a whole bunch of new people, you want to be converting those people into fans, you want them to stay around as fans. If they decide they've seen you, they don't like you, who are you gonna go to in the future? Yeah, this is a scary cycle to be on. I think this happened a lot with, I'm not picking fun of a particular person, but like I remember Trihex ran into this issue where Trihex got really big off of like the Mario Maker stuff for a little bit when it first came out. Then he had a bunch of viewers, but he didn't meaningfully convert those into long-term viewers, and then his viewership slid, and then it's hard to like get back there again. It's very, 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 very hard. But
I have the same standards for the people I love and my children. And
is this what happened with Myth? Myth's issue, didn't he stop playing Fortnite? What happened with Myth? I don't remember why he fell off so hard. I don't like saying fell off, that's mean. Or like why he lost so much of like an audience. I'm not. Have we seen such examples of people reinventing themselves? People can, but it's really hard. But I would argue maybe Brian from the Whatever podcast has kind of done that, because like he had a prank channel a long time ago. Now it's like this stuff goes decently well. Yeah, I don't know who else. I'm sure there have been people. It's just hard to think of them. There are 0 facts supporting why you haven't told everyone to like the live. We have almost 10K viewers watching, only 500 likes. Do the likes mean anything? Like my stream if you're watching from YouTube. You should be watching from Kick though. Kick.com/Destiny. But if you're watching from YouTube, like it, okay? I guess. Do you in general feel like people walk on eggshells around you? I remember once you said that it's really, really hard to attack someone publicly when you're being nice to them. Do you think Adin would have still tried to roll in the mud if you did that? Well, I'm pretty sure he made the comments about my wife before I said anything. That's my understanding. Derivative of the sigmoid function. Why do you keep linking to this? What is this? Are you just drawing the function and the derivative that I just did? Zerka gained 150k subs on YouTube. What the fuck is Destiny talking about? What is Destiny talking about?
Mike, please don't. I can't say anything. Mike, hold on. I need to get back in. I need to get back in.
Destiny's talking about this. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the inflection point here where he was on a bunch of podcasts and people knew who he was and everybody saw him, but he didn't manage to retain any of that audience, and now his viewership is sliding. That's what I'm talking about.
My family and my women, and I have the same standards for my fans. I don't want any fan of Andrew Tate to have ever lost in any realm. This is the thing that's interesting. I see these.
Now look at your channel. What do you mean? I'm pretty sure my viewership isn't pretty steady. Yeah, from over here. This has been fairly steady.
Other influencers, right? Let's say these other influencers, some random influencer comes along and he sells some random garbage, a crypto, and the crypto loses a bunch of money, for example. I couldn't sleep at night knowing that my fans lost money because of me.
Yeah.
I don't want money that bad. I would rather all of my fans say, you know what, you can say what you want about Andrew Tate, but since I listened to him, my life has only gotten better. Nothing bad has happened to me. I go to the gym, I feel better, I feel motivated, I feel happier. I joined his school, it cost $40, it was cheap, I'm making money now.
You should explain the bottom graph, they're gonna get you on that. Who's gonna get me on, how are you gonna get me on my career? What are you talking about? I had a huge subscription gain point here, yeah? But it's not like I had like a massive, I don't know, what happened in September of 2022? Was this Sneako? But it's not like I had like a huge inflection point and then have kind of like been falling off. I think that like my penetration so far into other crowds has been relatively strategic, but I think that, oh, that was the Miskiff stuff. I think that one of my largest benefits is usually when I go into other communities, I usually have a good time. The shows are usually good, the viewership is usually high, and I usually convert fans from there. But I also have a lot of communities that are poisoned against me, which is technically good for my long-term growth, because like if people who are Hassan fans or Vosh fans or Daily Wire fans see my content, they're more likely to like me, and they're not people that have already been truthfully exposed to me and decided they don't like me, right? I think that's a pro for me. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll fall off completely next year and I'll retire. So,
what's there bad about Andrew Tate? Every single thing he told me to do benefited me. And I really think I'm on this path to excellence. And when I see all these other influencers, and I don't want to say names, and I'm not throwing shade, and I'm not trying to start internet beef, because that's what they're going to try and do, to try and get clicks off my name, because they're not relevant without me, and I don't give a about any of them.
Just don't name them.
Just, yeah. All these people, what they're doing is, the way they're acting doesn't inspire anybody to be brilliant. Going in the street and yelling like an idiot, running around with half-naked girls and being entertaining and doing all this garbage they're doing. Nobody looks at that and goes, I want to be a better man. At all. They look at it and they might laugh.
Yeah.
Destiny, kind of random, but what was your normal viewership in the old StarCraft 2 days? I think it was around 5K. I guess maybe I'm an example of somebody that kind of fell off and then reinvented themselves, because I was a StarCraft 2 pro gamer. Oh no, I guess that would be the case, because technically I was the largest streamer in the world for about a year, because I did StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 was the biggest game, and I was the most popular streamer. But then I got out of StarCraft 2. I did League for a while. My viewership definitely was not high when I played League, and then I kind of like jumped into politics, and that's like my new orientation, basically. 5K was a lot back then. Yeah, 5K was the largest streams, basically, consistently in the world. Other people like Idra or Naniwa could stream and get more viewership than me, but that was just because they would stream like once a year or something, or like very, very, very rarely.
They might think it's funny. It might get views.
Entertaining, no substance.
Yeah, it's no substance. And that's why I think my brand is quite unique, because it's very substance driven. And the reason my brand is so substance driven is because I've had such a difficult life. I wouldn't be able to tell and teach the things I can unless God's put me through so much shit. I've been through a whole bunch of things so that I can teach and tell the world, look,
Can you prove you were #1? I don't know how I can prove. No, why the would I need to prove it? That was the reason why Owned wanted to buy me, was because I was Twitch's largest streamer. And I had the largest, Twitch or Justin TV's largest streamer? Might have been JTV back then. And I had the most viewer hours of anybody, basically.
You can do this way and life will improve. You can be this kind of person and your life will be better.
Did you take any enjoyment on the fact that the news of your relationship pulled all these well-known people out of the woodwork to comment on it after maintaining radio silence till then? It was eye-opening who ended up commenting about it when they acted like they didn't know you. They still probably don't know me. The reality is most of the Daily Wire people probably don't know me, probably still don't really know me. It's just stuff that popped up on social media, and then whoever works on the scripts for them probably wrote some shit for them to talk about, and then they did their videos on their like talking points. That's most likely what happened. I seriously doubt like Matt Walsh and Brett Cooper are going through social media. It's like, oh shit, this happened with Destiny. I know him. I'm going to talk about this. There's probably just people that like turn them on to certain content to talk about. Your analysis of Zerka was slightly unfair. His YouTube got demonetized, so he stopped uploading. No, I think my analysis of Zerka is accurate in terms of numbers, and I think it's accurate in terms of like substantive content as well. Because, and I've said this in the past, and I predicted Zerka's entire arc. I literally said exactly what would happen, and everything I said happened. I think there were 2 or 3 huge claims that I made about Zerka. One is that Zerka cannot maintain friendships because he always pushes everything too far. That was true, and he burned almost every friendship he had. 2 was that Zerka does not have a good work ethic, so he cannot maintain doing content for long periods of time unless he's literally got handlers. It seems like for a while he did, and now he's lost them, so I was right on that. And the third one I said was that Zerka has a really hard time being the main character. He's a good side character, but he doesn't know how to turn it down, so people will get burnt out on a lot of his antics pretty quickly, and then they don't want to see him again. That was also true. All 3 of these things happen, and I think all 3 of these things pretty accurately explain his up and down, in my opinion. The numbers match. All 3 of those things happened. They have happened in the past. I'm not even like a prophet. I've just seen him go through this cycle over and over again, and I think that pretty accurately explains like all of his ups and downs. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I could be missing something. It's possible, but I would need a really good argument or a really good counter explanation other than just you're being unfair to him or just him being demonetized or whatever, right? Zerka streamed every day a month ago and has been missing in action since. Yeah. How much do you think your stream titles affect your viewership? On YouTube, they affect it quite a bit. Because if I put like a big name or something interesting in there, people will click, but yeah.
But I think all these other influencers...
Which StarCraft match win are you proudest of in your professional career, and what were the factors that made that memorable? I don't know. I think beating Puzzle on the ladder after he won Code A with all the Infestor shit was pretty fun. Also that there was one tournament where I beat Startail Bomber and Startail Ace, I think. Yeah. But then I lost to like Jim Raynor. I lost to a couple no-name. I say no-name. I mean, but I lost to like significantly less better people, and that was bad.
Whatever else they're doing, I think they're largely a part of the problem. I would like to think in other nations and other cultures, and I don't know, but let's look at China, which has an insulated internet. If they have a brain, and I've heard this is true, I don't know if it is, but they make sure that their algorithms, the people who become famous, are musicians and mathematicians and engineers. They don't allow their algorithm to promote the idiots because they want the youth to be inspired by people who can do math extremely quickly or play the violin.
I've heard about
at 8th
this.
grade. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Now, it is the Matrix to a degree. Of course, it is censorship and it's governmental control.
Yeah, but we're doing the same thing, but promoting the opposite.
We're promoting insanity. So then you go down the rabbit hole. Why? Who? What's the end goal? Why do we want children to wake up, go on their phone, and tune into a stream of some geek loser screaming at the top of his voice in public? Who is doing this? Why are we trying to dumb down the population and permanently distract them with absolute garbage? Because I truly believe that is, you talk about God and we talk about faith. To be a disciplined religious person, the word is discipline. It requires discipline. It takes discipline to read the Bible. It's not gonna be screaming kids. It's not gonna be flashing images. It's not gonna be as entertaining as a stream with 30 naked girls. No, you're gonna have to sit down, pay attention, read, focus, reflect, try and find the lesson in the parable, get confused, read it again, ask for help. You're gonna have to study. That takes discipline. As we're destroying the new generation and removing their ability to focus on anything, removing their ability to be disciplined, you're taking them from God. Most of these children today are so messed up from TikTok.
God, fuck, I should fly to Romania. Tristan reached out to me and said, sorry about your divorce. It was nice. I didn't even respond to him. I feel like I could have a really interesting conversation with these two, with Tristan and Andrew. I don't agree with them, but it would just be interesting to talk to them.
They can't even focus on one page of a book, any book. Because all they do is scroll. Have you ever seen someone on TikTok, how fast they change video?
Yeah.
Their minds are gone. You can't even sit them down and teach them anything.
Is support in my family. I'm gonna be real though. I don't know how the fuck we just went from 17K to 2.7. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. If I could afford that, I would have bought it a lot earlier. I'm gonna be real. 2.7. What in the fake shit is that? That's a fucking lie. What? Hey! Cheers, get it. No, that's retarded though. I will say this. Now I gotta know what's going on with that. There's more than 2.7. I'll say this, there's more than 2.7.
I still remember the day the ViewBots went off on Twitch. What a glorious fucking day.
We'll be covering 3 categories: training, nutrition, and hot fitness topics. Here we go.
It's a spoof on a marriage story? Yeah, I'm aware. I didn't know if the scenes came from it or
also
not.
known as ego lifting.
Go first.
It is a journey without an end or a purpose. When you think it through, cheat reps are stupid on almost all counts. You end up having a higher probability of injury, a lower probability of stimulating the
Oh, we should bring our lifter flares in to get a thumbs up or thumbs down before these guys give it. And then we can like take or add lifter flares depending on their answers.
target muscle and a very difficult time tracking.
I agree that they're overrated. I think for the most part, people should use good technique. I would argue that on certain exercises, for example, bicep curls, if doing a little bit of cheating and slight momentum allows you to get another rep and then you control the eccentric, that might be an extra controlled eccentric that you wouldn't have gotten if you hadn't used that little bit of momentum. So I think that they can have some value, but I would still say overall, mostly overrated.
Muscle soreness.
I think it can be a good proxy that you did actually hit the target muscle. It can be an indication that the muscle you were trying to hit was in fact stimulated. But I think a lot of people are under the impression that if you didn't get sore, that means you didn't have a good workout or you didn't grow muscle, which is definitely not true. And in that sense, I would say it's overrated.
I think it's become fashionable lately in the evidence-based community to say that soreness is overrated, or more specifically that soreness doesn't really mean anything and that soreness is only a side effect of novelty. I think that fails on about 7 or 8 logical grounds. When you do more volume, more intensity, proper progression, when you come closer to failure, when you generate a lot of metabolites, when you focus on the eccentric, when you train along muscle lengths, all of those things tend to cause more soreness. And to me, that sounds like a very, very close link causatively to hypertrophy. It's okay if you're not getting sore, but if you're not progressing and you feel like you're understimulating, trying to get sore is probably a good idea. And if you're getting sore, you have 99 problems, but stimulus is not one.
Okay.
Training each muscle only once.
Damn, he just lets it there? He just gets mogged by Mike? He's not gonna give a counter argument? He just okays it and then quits? Destiny, real talk, how many death threats do you get weekly? If I average it out over the year, I'd say I get about 20 death threats a week. If I take away any of the times I fight with Muslims, I think it would average out to about 0.2 per week.
A week, also known as a bro split.
There are better ways to train than training one muscle group once a week, especially if you're talking about small muscle groups. Like if you train your rear delts once a week or your biceps once a week, there's absolutely no way they take that long to recover. You just missed opportunity. And legs or something, or if you have a huge back is fine once a week, but it's also not optimal. I think you should train muscles when they recover. That generally occurs anywhere between every day or 2 times a week.
Yeah, I agree. A little bit of devil's advocate. The latest frequency research does show that a bro split is a viable approach, but I would say it's probably not the optimal approach.
Don't spend 2 hours per workout 5 days in the gym to do a perfectly fine approach. No one in here in the gym right now wants perfectly fine. They want jacked. It's the same number of days a week. You show up and not do a bro split, you get better results.
What about training to failure?
So I think overrated. I think that the research shows that there's not a huge difference in terms of hypertrophy or strength if you go all the way to failure or if you stop a couple reps shy. I think people think going to failure is super, super important. And I think you have to know what failure feels like, but I do think overall it's overrated and not as important as a lot of bodybuilders think.
Agreed, and I would add that most of the people that are saying that failure is super important are coming from an egotistical perspective in which they need to emotionally drain themselves in the gym, and it's more cathartic and psychological and less to do with what gets optimal results.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm here editing this video now, and I kind of want to update my answer just a little bit. I still kind of think that...
Oh, what? He does a post-edit debate, and he doesn't let Mike respond? What? What?
Psychological and less to do with what gets optimal results.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm here editing this video now, and I kind of want to update my answer just a little bit. I still kind of think...
Debate pedophilia.
That training to failure is slightly overrated. However, there's a brand new meta-analysis that did find that on average, training to failure was better for muscle growth than not training to failure. That doesn't mean that every set you do needs to be taken to failure, but I would say it's important. If you don't take any sets to failure, I would say you are leaving gains on the table. If I had to update my answer, training to failure is properly rated to slightly overrated. But I'm gonna give Mike a quick call and see if he wants to give it.
Oh, okay. We brought Mike back. Okay.
Hey, Mike. In our last video, you said you thought training to failure was overrated. I'm just wondering if you'd want to update that.
Yes, training to failure is even more overrated.
Okay, we'll try to guess what Mike's going to say, okay? I feel like training to failure on like really dumb isolation lifts can be okay if you're like bicep curling or something, but I feel like training to failure on any big lift, whatever gain you make, in doing the actual training, I feel like would be instantaneously negated the first time you injure yourself, like training too hard. That's what I feel like would happen. Because like could you reasonably bench or squat or deadlift or do any big compound lift to failure every single time you train and not injure yourself? I feel like and then one injury and you've deleted any potential gains that you've made because now you're taking days, weeks, months off of that particular. That'd be my guess. All right, let's see what Mike says.
Probably more overrated than ever because of that recent meta-regression that came out that said that training to failure was superior for
brings up the same study.
Hypertrophy, but it turns out that's only the case if you train with very low volumes, you're not trying very hard, you're smaller, you're weaker, and you don't train very often. If you train a lot and you're really serious and you're really trying, in that very study, they say training to failure has no advantage. And because most people didn't read the study, almost no one read the study.
Oh my God.
Study, I guess, then it's more overrated than ever.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, the mind to muscle connection.
You go first.
I think that people who prefer to talk about mind-muscle connection sometimes are right in a nuanced way, but often are doing a mind-muscle connection at the expense of good technique and a lot of load and the right movements and especially progression. So as long as your technique is good, you have progression, then mind-muscle connection becomes important, but it's very much a quaternary or tertiary variable.
I completely agree. I think it's one of those things that matters and is generally good, but I think people overstate how much it actually matters. You can get a good mind-muscle connection and not necessarily have a sufficiently stimulative set if you didn't push that set hard.
How do you feel about pumps?
Do you do some research on cold plunges? I started doing cold plune into sauna, and I've seen great mental/physical results. I feel like there's a lot of health benefits to like the extreme temperature shit, like, or rather I hear them. If you talk about like saunas or if you talk about like the cold water shit, but I've never actually like looked into the studies to see if it's real or not. I've always heard that it's like good for mental cardiovascular, but I don't actually know if that's true. That's just like shit I heard passed around. I don't know how much it helps at all.
Okay, I'm gonna say properly rated. I think pumps are fun and they make training more enjoyable. They probably have some connection to hypertrophy, and I think people think that pumps are good and fun, and they are, so yeah, properly rated.
Sure. I just mean underrated, and I think pumps are great. And in the evidence-based space, I think pumps are underrated. Whether or not you got a really good pump is a good gauge of if the target muscle was hit, if it's the right place that they're getting pumped, and also a good gauge of volume.
The next category is nutrition. Let's start with dirty bulking.
I think dirty bulking can be fun. It can lead to strength gain, but overall, it leads to vastly disproportionately more fat gain than it does muscle gain. And for that reason, I think it's overrated.
I mean, I have the stretch marks and loose skin to prove it. So I used to do it. I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun. It caused a lot of irreversible side effects. And I wish I would have stayed leaner, and it sure as shit would have gotten me laid more often in college.
Natural testosterone.
What the fuck is dirty bulking? Okay, I used to think dirty bulking is when you just try to hit your over calorie count with a bunch of like dirty food, like sugars and carbs, whatever. Apparently, a clean bulk is when you are putting on about 400 to 500 calories extra every day. A dirty bulk is when you eat in excess of 500 calories a day for your dietary requirements for your TDEE. So dirty bulk is just that you're putting on enough calories to gain muscle because you're in a calorie excess, but you're putting on a lot more calories with, I guess, the bro idea that it makes recovery easier between workouts because you're eating so much food. It just, yeah. But apparently you don't need, but I think the issue that they just kind of said is like, if you're dirty bulking, you're probably putting on way more fat than you need to. So the body composition is going to get fucked, even if you are gaining muscle. You'd probably gain about as much if you just ate at a 500 calorie surplus. You don't need like 1,000 or 1,500 or whatever.
Testosterone boosters.
Go first.
Yeah, this will be super simple. There's no such thing.
If you want to boost your testosterone, take
Testosterone. It comes in a needle.
I mean, even if there was an over-the-counter herb that could boost testosterone, there's no evidence that it would do anything significant or noticeable for muscle mass, right? Which is why most people, I think, take it.
Also, the thing is that if a herb boosts testosterone, you have to ask by what mechanism is it doing that. If your own body detects that a serum testosterone increase has occurred, it usually downregulates its own production. So if you have a combination herb that also keeps your testosterone naturally producing higher, that is a pharmacological multi-compound drug that is not something that grows on a tree.
Right. Oh. People hate on people filming at the gym, like, oh, why are you filming at the gym, this and that. I film at the gym and it helps educate people on training, as long as you're not disrespecting them.
Locking out is a cue to taking weight off your muscles and putting it on your joints, so just don't do it. We're not gonna get into a big, because this isn't what we're doing today on stream. You should, if you can support any weight with your muscles, you should be able to support the weight with your joints. Any weight that you can move with your muscles, you should absolutely be able to lock out on. That's like, I don't think anybody with a lot of experience would argue against that. That's like a weird meme myth that people say because they've seen too many videos on the internet, but if you can move the weight with your muscles, you should be able to support the weight with your joints. Like,
other people who maybe don't want to be on camera or violating the gym rules, I'm all for it.
I think as the world becomes more technologically advanced and as more of us start to wear eventually VR glasses, AR glasses, eventually AR contact lenses, being out in public will be implicit consent for being on anyone's video. And also, yeah, of course I'm going to film my training, and anyone should be able to film their training too. And if you walk through someone's camera, you will be on camera because you're out in public anyway. Are you kidding me? And Facebook and Instagram and stuff is just another version.
Wow, go figure. The two YouTube stars want everybody to be filmed all the time because they make money off of other people's humiliation. Ha, great.
Version of public, you were out in the gym, weren't you? If someone's filming in your own private gym and you don't want to be on there, I understand. And also, oh, there's tripods everywhere. So what? Walk around. There's also machines everywhere. Get out of here.
If you didn't see the last video, I did a shoulder workout with Dr. Mike. I'll put a link to that over here somewhere. Make sure you check out his channel. He does all kinds of really good myth-busting style videos, so if you're into that kind of thing, you'll love Renaissance periodization. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys all here in the next one.
Wow. Good job, all of you. We get jacked, okay? We're gonna go and stand on Adin Ross? No, I don't know what to say about it. We're past that, okay?